Welcome back to Must Play Reviews. When I first played Highguard, I honestly thought it was made by a bunch of amateurs. It has all the sloppy mistakes of a studio that has never made a game before. It is packed with tons of ambitious ideas like knights on horses with guns, hero abilities, and just about every single mechanic from every free-to-play shooter that has ever existed. Just one of these concepts could have made for a pretty good game. But when you throw them all into a single package, it becomes a disaster. But then I looked up the developer, Wildlight Entertainment. That is Chad Grenier, the game director of Apex Legends, the team behind Titanfall. He is considered to be one of the kings of the modern FPS. He was part of the team that literally created the movement shooter genre. This game wasn't made by rookies who didn't know what they were doing. It was made by rockstars who have surrounded themselves with yes men. Every single idea was approved. Nobody in that room had the courage to say, no, stop, we've gone too far. And because nobody said that, we ended up with a game that tries to be everything and succeeds at nothing. But that isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is pacing. And I don't mean the level design or how fast the story moves. It's something deeper. I'm talking about that connected feeling of the game, its pulse, its musical rhythm. As a musician, I can feel it when the beat is off. And Highguard feels like a drummer who can't keep time. First, let's look at the visuals. Just like the gameplay, the art style has a massive identity crisis. I can't shake the feeling that these characters are designs just made by an algorithm. It's like the developers took their favorite characters, threw them into an AI generator, and said, concept me a character based on all of these. Condor is basically Aloy from Horizon, but they gave her the bird from Apex Legends to make it original. Slade is straight out of Fatal Fury. Mara is literally Mora from Overwatch. On PS5, the image quality is shockingly bad. It's a blurry, soft mess that lacks any contrast or punch. I'm looking at textures that are almost non-existent at times. Looking at the horse's hair, it's nothing but a jagged mess. Because the upscaler is fighting for its life. And for what reason? The game looks like it was made 15 years ago. It kind of reminds me of a PS3 game called Brink. If you remember that one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It had amazing ideas, but it felt floaty and disconnected. Highguard is unintentionally the spiritual successor to that failure. It even looks like the game has that same terrible Vaseline filter that GTA 4 had. And the problems, they just keep getting deeper. It throws you into this convoluted loop of battle royale mixed with hero shooter mixed with capture the flag. Once you get the shield breaker, you run it to the enemy base, break their shield, and suddenly it turns into Rainbow Six and CSGO. And then for some reason there's also a store clerk in game. You have to break these crystals in a terrible little mini game where you have to click the right analog stick to swing your axe. It's not a good mechanic. Highguard is the video game version of ADD. At no point can this game seem to focus on anything that it wants to do. Now, let's talk about that pulse I mentioned earlier. Animation in video games works like music. It relies on time signatures. A natural feeling game usually operates on a normal beat structure, meaning animations are all calculated within a 4/4 time signature, for the most part. But Highguard doesn't do that. And even the scale of the world feels off because of it. In the training ground, you're running across hallways that feel off. It's just a little step further than it should be for you to reach the end of one section to the other. But the real problem is the guns. The very first gun I used was the pistol. It shoots 5 rounds. Now, as you're shooting, you can see that they timed the shots to be on beat. The problem is they don't know how to count. If you were going to do 5 rounds, the loop should be 2 full measures, 8 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reload should take place on 6, 7, and 8. That way when you fire again, you're back on 1. This gives you something that has a feeling of connectedness to it. It feels rhythmic. If you play music, you can feel it instantly. It feels like the game is lagging even though it isn't. You are constantly firing off by that little half beat, getting further and further out of sync every single time. And you can tell that the developers know something is wrong too. Usually, a Season 1 lasts 3 months. But Highguard released Episode 2 just 10 days after launch. They panic dropped a new hero in rank mode to try and stop the bleeding. But you ain't gonna fix a broken foundation by adding more weight to the roof. And it looks like that foundation is already cracked completely. As I said, this game has no pulse, and unfortunately, I think the studio is flatlined with it. Could this game have been great? Yes. But you had to do one thing: get your baseline correct. Without that, everything else falls apart. So Highguard is a hard pass. But if you are going to take a chance and play it because it is free to play, I would not spend any extra money on it because it looks like it's going to be shut down before long. But who knows, maybe they can pull something off and fix it. We've seen it before. Cyberpunk 2077, No Man's Sky. It's rare, but it does happen. Thanks for watching. Would you kindly leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.